Well, hello everybody, and as you can tell, I'm doing this from a different location. I'm in my orbital habitat, my alternate space station location, and this time of night I'm not drinking coffee, and all that implies. I spent most of the day working on the computer, working on some more videos. Still trying to get up with Nick over at Clinco, but he's super busy. And I did get the Saturn V decaled finally. Two of the fins had broken off from general manhandling, and they popped off again while I was decaling them. But other than that, everything's it actually looks pretty good. The decals that I got from Cult TV Man, actually that's not them. It's they're incredibly detailed, and there's even a few spares, a few extras. But the one thing they did not have was the four little USAs that go around the, I guess it's the third stage, the S4B, and I had to use the original decals to get those. So I don't know if something wasn't in that packet or if they just determined that those were correct and you're supposed to use them. But I've got it up in my room now. It looks good. A few little touch-ups to go, but no big deal. It's pretty much done. I still got to get the launch umbilical tower done. And when I get that done, it'll probably go on display there temporarily. I'm leaving it in my room. I also just hung up my first Man on the Moon newspaper thing. It's printed on hardwood, so it's an actual wall hanging. And I finally got that up today, and the rocket looks real good next to it. So that's done. I did finish HMS Amazon today also. I got the thing clear coated and all that, and I found one of the propellers that had dropped off, so I got to glue that. I actually glued it back on. The only thing I have to do is paint it red. And according to instructions, the props are red also, which every ship I've ever seen, the props are brass, but the little color code thing says, nope, red, same as the rest of the bottom of the ship. And the little helicopters are glued in place and everything, so that looks good. But like I say, today was mostly just computer stuff, and I did get the a lot of research done on Valome. I'm still trying to get some information on Rodin. Someone in Russia is trying to get some information for me on that because they're in the Ukraine and they're really hard to dig up much information on. I'm also learning about something called limited run injection molding, which is apparently what Valome does. And I guess with modern techniques now, you don't have to cut the expensive steel molds if you're going to do a limited run. They're softer or easier to work with, cheaper materials. So, working on that. I hope to have something out within a week or so, run maybe 2 or 3 of them. And some folks had asked about the air coupe. I had done a little video on general aviation on the air coupe. And apparently, other than balsa models or wooden models, the only plastic air coupe I've been able to find was the old one by Olin, later Lindbergh, which I think Pegaso picked up. And it's like the Navion I got from them also. It doesn't have any clear plastic. And that's, if you happen to come across one of those old, there's one on sale for eBay. It looks complete for about $70. It's a little steep, but for a kit that was, 75 cents or $1. And it's not even that great a kit. And that's one of those things that sadly is probably worth more if you don't build it than if you do. But that's why if Max's models ever were able to get into producing models, I'd probably go with the general aviation series because it's really underrepresented. There's a lot of great little planes a lot of people haven't heard about. I learned in the Luscombe, the Air Coupe, the Aeronика Champ, the Taylor Craft, all the Pipers. We call it Piper Cub. There's about a half dozen. There's a J2, J3, J4, J5. Many of them were redesignated later when they're upgraded like PA-12 and PA-18. But basically you've got the Cub, the J4, the J5, the Cub Special PA-11, the Super Cub, Cub Cruiser, which has the wide back seat. And that's not even getting to some of their side-by-sides like the Clipper. So that's a really untouched market. And so we'll probably do it in 1/48 scale, but that might actually be a little small. 1/32 might be bigger, but I'm not going to be doing that. So doesn't really matter. But yeah, I'd probably go with 1/48 scale. At least Minicraft does do some aircraft. You know, that have been some of the more popular, more modernish ones. They do, well, actually, they do a Super Cub, and of course, they've got the Bonanza and the 150 and a few others. So there's that, and the Cherokee. But Aurora, of course, had the ones they got from Comet, and then the ones they did themselves. And I guess light civilian aircraft just aren't considered as, you know, ooh-ah as a lot of this stuff. But then what I've been learning as I've been doing the research for Volome is that one of the reasons they've managed to kind of stay ahead of the curve, I guess you would say, or you know, keep the doors open anyway, is that they don't really compete head to head with all the popular stuff like Mustangs and Zeros. They do the more offbeat aircraft, which are great modeling subjects, even if they weren't necessarily great aircraft. They do the things that only a few hundred of were made, or that, you know, maybe the RAF turned this one down, or you know, the Russians used a few hundred of these, but they preferred the IL-2. And they also do a lot of aircraft that have different variations that, with just a few minor changes, maybe engine and cowling and one or two little tinkerings, they can issue two separate kits, you know, that are basically the same airplane, but two completely different models, but, you know, 70–80% parts commonality, and that keeps the cost down. So I'll cover that in the video about them. But so it's a good way to do things. So it's smart. And they've released as many as, you know, 4 or 5 variations of the same airplane, but they're all different subtypes, so just little changes. But anyway, here's a look at the Saturn V, and that's really about all I got. I might take some better pictures tomorrow or something. And but you know, my time is like, it's either work on videos or work on models. If I try to do both in a day, which, I mean, I usually do, because it's going to, you know, just doing this video is going to take me 10–15 minutes to record, another 20–30 minutes to edit. So I'm going to get some computer time in no matter what I do. But the general idea being that, you know, once you get your mojo going, you're doing your studies and everything, you know, you kind of get into that groove of video production, then you're better off to just, okay, today's going to be video production day, and start getting your research. So, well, that's about all for right now. And maybe we'll have coffee in the morning, or, well, hasn't really been in the morning lately, has it? Most of it's probably been in the noon or afternoon. Still waiting to hear back, so haven't done any training yet. And oh, by the way, when I talked about Delta wings this morning, there was one airplane I forgot to mention. The Bach Lightning, which was a really fast jet. The British Aerospace had the engines on top of each other. Extremely fast airplane. And people don't think of it as a Delta wing when you look at the plan from the top. It actually is. It just has a notch cut out at the rear root of the wing. And like the MiG-21, it has a conventional tail. But that actually is a Delta wing. And so just one more thing on that. All right, guys, we'll let you go for this evening. You have a great evening. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.